Hello and welcome back to your mat. Today we're gonna play a little bit, and through play we're also gonna help this pose we're gonna do. We're gonna help our lower back. We're gonna work on the hip area, and that in turn is going to, and we're also gonna work a little bit on the central core area, which will all in turn help strengthen and also stretch that lower back because everything is all connected here. So that's what we're gonna work on today, but we're gonna play a little bit throughout the poses. So in that vein, you don't need any props at all for today's class, just yourself and your mat. And the quote for today is by George Bernard Shaw. We don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. So let's always have a little bit of a playful nature in ourselves. See how, call that our new anti-aging. All right, let's get started. So we're going to start out with, I'm seated here. And what we're going to do is we're going to do it's going to be, I'm calling it a loose fire log pose. Now, before that doesn't sound like fun, I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So you're going to just bring that right foot over to your left knee. And I've got my leg up here pretty high, so we're not trying to come down right now. But what we're going to do is we're going to move. We're going to move between this one, and then we're going to switch and have the other foot on top. So we're going to come into this, and we're going to lean back, and then we're going to switch. So you can watch here for a second. So now I have my left foot on top of my right knee, coming forward a little bit. Obviously, I'm not trying to go all the way down here. We haven't even stretched out yet, so nothing's open enough here yet. Lean back and switch. So now the right foot is on top of the left knee. Come forward a bit. Come back. You get the idea. So go ahead and just do this. We're just doing some movements here, gentle movements. We're not trying to come all the way. We're not trying to get anywhere. Just play around with this a bit. Lean back. We're kind of giving our hips here, our pelvis area a little opening. So just do a few rounds here, breathing through this as you do it, and just enjoying it and playing with it a little bit. And you may be a lot more upright, and that's fine. You don't have to come any further than this. That's perfectly fine. Keep your feet flexed during this pose to help protect your knee. So just try to keep the knee protected while we're doing this. Let's do a couple more rounds. And one more each side. And then you're going to go ahead and plant both of the soles of your feet on the ground. We're going to put our hands behind us, and we're just going to lift that chest up here. Look up toward the sky, lift your chest up, really open up here in this pose. And then exhale and release that. Now we're going to come into what is called deer pose, or it also could be called a 90-90 sit. So I'm going to start with my left leg forward, and my right leg will be back. So what we're doing is we're going for 90-degree angles with everything here. So I've got my left leg is bent 90-degree angle here from my hip, and it's bent at the knee and even my ankles. So you'll see 90-degree angles all the way through here. Same thing with your back leg, but it's going back. So coming out from the hip here, your knee is bent and your ankles. So everything is 90-degree angle here. This right hip is not going to come all the way down to the ground, so don't try to force that down. It's not supposed to come all the way down. And you're going to stay here for just a moment. Inhale and get nice and tall. And then what we're going to do is we're going to exhale and come forward and come back upright. So you're just going to simply move between those two poses for just a moment. You can leave your hands up to make it a more challenging pose. Coming back up, or you can always release the hands down to the ground and bring yourself back up. So we're just going to go through this motion a few rounds, really hoping to open up the hips there, give them some rotation. We've got a little movement going. And you're also having to use the core stabilizers here to help hold yourself up, even if you're using your hands. So you are working on that central core area, which is really important for the lower back. A lot of times when we have low back issues, there's a lot of causes, obviously, and I'm not a doctor, so I can't diagnose all the different causes, but some of the main ones, or some of the big ones, can be a really weak core. If this whole area is really weak, then you're going to have some low back issues. And also, sometimes if your hamstrings are tight or your hips are tight, that can translate into low back pain. So by working on something either down the chain or up the chain from where you may be having pain, you can actually help that area. So go ahead and do another round or two there. And then come all the way back up. And now we're just going to fold forward over that left leg, and we're going to stay there. So you can stay more upright if you like. If you want to bring your elbows down, you can, but you're folding directly over that left shin. Stay here for another breath. And then we're going to come upright. I'm going to turn on my mat so you can see this better. You don't have to turn it all on your mat, but you're going to stay in your 90-degree sit. So I'm just going to shift myself here a little bit so you can see what I'm going to do here, because we're going to twist. So again, you can stay where you're at. And if you're staying where you were at, you're going to come off your mat for this twist. But now we're going to twist over to the left. So bring your body over to the left. So you're twisting away from that left knee. And you can come over as far as you like. So if you need to stay a little bit more over to the side, that's fine. Or if you want to go further, you're really going to get that nice spinal twist here. Breathing here. You're also welcome to come in on your elbows if that feels good. It may feel better to stay more upright. Couple breaths there. Nice twist here to kind of release that lower back, the spine. And you're also feeling that here through your abdomen. And then we'll come all the way back to center. And now we're just going to switch, and we're going to go to the other side. So go ahead and do your deer pose going the other way. So now your right leg is going to be forward, and your left leg will be back. So go ahead and set yourself up in this pose. Get ready. And I've got my 90 set going on here, so everything's 90-degree angles again. The left leg is back. Now the left hip is not going to come all the way down to the ground. That's fine. And now you've got your right leg forward. So go ahead and sit up tall here and look straight ahead. And we're going to do those movements again. So inhale, get tall, and then exhale, and go ahead and fold forward and come back up. So you can use your hands or make it more challenging and leave your hands off the ground. Either way, you're still going to get a good stretch and good strength and good, all of that's going on. So whether you do hands down or not. So we're just going to go through this, flow this a few times. You don't have to take it so seriously. Just kind of play with it a little bit. Be playful in your movements here. Really kind of working through that range of motion on the hips. Let's go a few more rounds. And then go ahead and come all the way back up. And now we're going to fold forward over that right shin. So go ahead and come forward any amount. So whatever that looks like for you, you may be a lot more upright. You may be further down, all the way down to your elbows, forearms. Remember to breathe here. And we're just releasing into this for a moment and just feeling the sensations that we feel. Inhale and come up, and now we're going to do that twist. So I'm going to turn again on the mat. You can stay where you're at. Keep your feet in the 90-degree angles here, your legs. And then we're going to twist over to the right this time. So come over any amount, and you'll really feel it all the way through here. Give yourself a nice twist here, nice rinse of the organs, internal organs. Another inhale and exhale. And then come all the way back up. We're going to go ahead and bring our knees. We're going to come seated again, bring our legs together, I should say. You're going to have your soles of your feet on the ground. And we're going to come into a modified boat pose here. So from here, you're going to simply lift one leg and then the other leg. We're going to keep our hands behind us on the mat, or alternatively, you could keep your feet on the mat and just bring your hands forward. So our body is at a V shape here. So you start here, and you can always just stay here, or you can lift both of your legs up and keep your hands on the ground behind you. Or alternatively, bring your hands up, keeping your chest lifted up and trying to maintain that V shape. And then go ahead and hug your knees into your chest. And now, if it doesn't bother your knee, if your knee is okay in this pose, you're going to take that left leg and bend it back behind you. So I've got the top of my foot now is on the ground. And then just take this other one and bend it in, bend that right leg in. And so now I've got the sole of my right foot is connecting with the sole of my, sorry, not the sole of my right foot is connecting to my knee. So as long as your knee feels okay, or if this doesn't feel good, then just come out of it and skip this pose. And then just going to lean back any amount. So this is just giving you a nice little quad stretch here. And my quads are perpetually tight. So the further down I come, I can really feel it. So find your edge and stop there. And this is my edge. If I came down on my elbows, it would really be pulling too much for me. So find what works for you. Get yourself a nice little quad stretch here. We won't stay here long. Inhale, come back up. We're going to do that modified boat one more time. So if you did the legs up the first time, then do your arms up this time. Come into your nice boat pose here. You're modified for just a moment. Really opening the chest up, coming up out of your hips here. Try not to round in the back there, and then go ahead and hug your knees in. And now we're going to do the other quad stretch on the other side. So go ahead and bend that right leg back behind you. The sole of, or the bottom of my foot is now on the ground. Bring that left foot in, bend your knee. Your left foot is now up against your right knee. And go ahead and lean back any amount. And if you have really tight quads, you may find being right here is enough. That will give you that stretch. So find what works best for you. And you may have to move your legs around a little bit. You can play around with them. You can have it more open if that works. Play around and see what works. If it absolutely does not work for you, then just skip it. Skip that pose and take a moment to take a breath. Take a breather. But you should really feel a nice stretch here. You'll feel some sensation. If you feel any pain, especially in your knees, then come out of this pose. Then it's not a pose for you to do. So if there's pain, come out. If you feel sensation, that's different. That's the stretch is happening. And then go ahead and bring your knees back up. And now we're going to come into fire log pose. So fire log pose is exactly what it sounds like. It looks almost like two logs being stacked. So I'll start this way so you can see it, and then I'll turn to the side also. So I'm going to bring my left foot in front of me first, and then I'm going to bring my right foot on top of my left knee. And now I have stacked shins, and then my right knee is above my left foot. So here's where you might be. If this just does not work for you in any way, then go with a simple cross-legged. You're still going to get a nice stretch. So pick the variation that works best for you. I'm going to turn to the side here so you can see it. But you'll see now it looks like almost like two logs. And they call this fire log pose because you'll feel some fire in a little bit of a sensation in those hips. So you're building some heat here, and you're helping to open up and work on the hip and the pelvic area. So if your right knee goes down, that's great. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. You can stay more upright. So get up, sit up nice and tall here. And if you feel ready and you'd like to, go ahead and bend forward any amount. And bring those hands out in front of you. The more you bend forward, you're going to really feel that in your right hip. You will feel some sensation for sure. So come forward any amount. And we're going to stay in this pose for a few rounds of breath to really work into that. You may need to stay more upright. You might be able to come all the way down. Wherever you are, find what works for you. Find your edge. And it's important that you breathe here. So the breath here is really important. This is going to help with those sensations you're feeling. Keep your hips grounded. Don't try to come up off of the ground. You want to keep your hips grounded. Keep your toes, your feet flexed here to protect your knees. And breathe here. And don't worry, we're playing here. Just be more playful than, oh, I have to come all the way down. No, play around. Find that edge. If your edge is right here, stop. Find your edge and stay there. For another couple of rounds of breath, we're really going to let this work, and we're going to marinate in this pose for just a moment. Another inhale. Are you feeling the fire yet? And exhale. Come all the way back up. And now we're going to come into full boat pose. So this is going to definitely work on the central core area, which will in turn help the lower back. Just like fire log pose, help with that right hip to help with the lower back, to help open it. Now we're going to strengthen. So full boat pose, we're going to go ahead and start with our hands and our feet on the ground. So our knees are bent. Open up the chest. You're in your V here. And you're going to start with one leg up and another leg up. And you can stay here. Or add one arm, add the other arm. And here you are in full boat pose. You can always keep both your hands and your feet down if you'd like. Open your chest up here. We're going to hold here for just a breath or two. Really feel that. Try not to round on your back. Try to stay in that V shape. One more inhale. Exhale and release and give yourself a nice hug. And now we're going to do fire log on the other side. All right, here we go. So fire log on the other side. I'm going to bend that right leg now. And now I'm going to take my left foot. It's going to be on my right knee. And now my left knee will be above my right foot. Trying to keep which side is which. And I'll turn here for a moment so you can see this. But again, you'll see that it's stacked here. So your knee, you may have some space here. Your knee may be way up, or your knee might be able to come and close into there now. You might be able to actually close that gap there. If you're not able to, that's not what's important. It's come into the pose that what works for you. If this doesn't work for you, just do a simple cross-legged, okay? That's also going to give you the hip opening we want. So there's no reason to force yourself in a fire log. If it doesn't work for your knees or your body, then skip it. Do something different. All right, and so now you know what we're going to do here. Go ahead and inhale and get tall. You can stay here if that's enough for you. You may already be feeling that sensation. Otherwise, go ahead and come forward any amount, and we're going to marinate in this pose for a minute. So breathe here and notice where you are. And again, your knee may be further up. You may be more upright. That's fine. Remember, when you're breathing this pose, keep your hips grounded, and you should feel that sensation over here on your left side especially. This is an intense pose, but it's a great pose to help open up the hips. And if you are in that seated cross-legged seat, that also is going to give you a nice opening in your hips. This one's just a little bit more intense, so. But again, there's no reason to force yourself into this pose. If the other one works better for you, then choose that one. It's not a contest. You don't win a prize. So go ahead and stay here for some breaths. Make sure you're breathing deeply into that hip, especially where you're feeling that sensation. For me, I feel it right here, right on my left side here. And don't get hung up on how far you can go or which variation of the pose you're doing, or that you can't fold forward at all. That's not what's important. We're simply being playful with our practice and noticing where we are. So you can kind of play around. If you want to play around a bit, maybe start upright and just lean forward a little bit and see, I should stop right there. See where it is, find your edge, and go there. And then lean into that edge and be there and be okay with that edge. Breathing into the sensations that you feel. The breath is really your most powerful tool that helps you work through these sensations. And then we're going to take another inhale and exhale. One more inhale. And exhale, bring yourself back up, and we'll do one more round of boat pose. So we helped strengthen and open the lower back by doing those hip opening and those opening the pelvic area. And now we're going to work on that central core again. So you can take whatever variation of boat you would like. We'll start in this one. Open the chest, looking up. If you want to add the legs, then add one leg up, second leg up. And you want to add the arms, one arm out, second arm out. And balance here. It can be in any of those variations you like, just the legs up or you can have just the arms up or nothing up. You can have everything on the ground. Breathe here. Feel the sensation. Be with it. You're strengthening this. It's going to help your back. One more inhale. And exhale and fold in. Give yourself a huge hug. You did it. You played with your practice today. You strengthened. You stretched. And hopefully you feel really good after today's practice. Thank you for joining me. As always, it was a pleasure guiding you through today's practice.